Hey there, my name is Heather Feather. I am the owner of Rare Bird Medicine, and today's topic is Wake the Shaman. There is an archetypal idea that many of us will have of what it means to be a shaman. I know that when I was invoked by Lightwalker, the first shaman that I spent an extensive amount of time studying with, not the first one I had met, but the first one I started studying with, and my mentor and my teacher on the shamanic path primarily, I know that when he invoked me on the path, even I had this antiquated idea of what it means to be a shaman. I was like, first of all, I'm not brown. Second of all, I'm not a man. Third of all, I'm not an elder. I'm supposed to be old. I'm supposed to be brown. I'm supposed to be male. This is what a shaman is. You know, there is a female term that they've given to shaman, which is called shamanka, and teach their own. I don't tend to want to put genitals on everything, but you do you, boo-boo. You know, you do whatever aligns with you. I'm not attached. I have dear friends I love that like the word shamanka better. But I had to awaken to the idea, what if lots of different entities could be shamans, you know? What if we are quite multidimensional and multifaceted creatures, and if you're a shaman, you were born one. You didn't you didn't just become one because you became old, you know? You fully stepped into your power as an elder, no doubt, you know? And it's a long process and journey to get there. The reason I am making this video called Wake the Shaman is because Lightwalker awoke the shaman within me. He summoned me to the shamanic path. I was working for an amazing superfood company called Navitas Organics in California with some really cool humans. And I had given a lot of tarot, astrology, numerology readings in my free time because I love to serve humanity. It's one of the core symbols of the sign, symbols, and clues of are you a shaman? One component will be that you love to serve. You tend to give. You tend to be very outward focused. You tend to be a large giver. You tend to pray and give and grace a lot in the world. And so I was giving, just what I wanted to give to the people that I loved that I worked with. And they all pitched in and got me a reading with my dear friend Sage's friend, Charles Lightwalker. He is an eagle elder and medicine man and shaman and wise, brilliant creature that I am well honored to have not only spent years apprenticing with, but to have received volumes of his teachings that he's given me permission to share with the world, which I'll be sharing this year. And I was even blessed to write a chapter in his upcoming book, The Earth, the Sea, You, and Me. And so that should be available on Amazon within a coming year or two. He has several books you can get on Amazon, and you can also hire him, Charles Lightwalker, just by searching for his name. He offers, individual readings as well. But they had graced me with this individual reading with him, and he told me, he's like, you're a very powerful medical intuitive. You do a lot of what I do already, Heather. He's like, you do this work, you just dabble. You just tend to here, I'll do Kundalini healing for you, or here, I'll do, you just kind of give medicine where medicine is needed as it's needed, and you haven't chosen to walk the path. And he was right, of course. He saw a lot of things about me and gave me a lot of insights and wisdoms that I cherish to this day. It gave me a lot of clarity. But one of the things that he offered me is this offering to wake the shaman within me and invited me to step on the path. And ever since I stepped on that path with him, I spent years studying with him. I've been blessed to work with Danny Hallam, Hallam, who's available on Facebook, has a business called Innate Alchemy. He's an amazing, very powerful wizard and medicine man in Texas, a bear medicine man that you can work with as well, that I highly recommend. I've worked with a few different shamans since I've had the grace of studying with Lightwalker. And, it's funny because I had to be invoked. I had to be awoken. I had to have somebody say hey, the archetype that you hold for this is, first of all, false. First of all, false. Any of you watching this could be a shaman that is just nobody's invoked you onto the path. And another sign, symbol, and clue of somebody being on the shamanic path is that many will get what's called shamanic sickness. And shamanic sickness is where you have an ailment, an illness, a problem, a disease, conditions. So for me, I had a stomach condition for many, many years that caused me tremendous troubles and pain that couldn't be diagnosed. I had every stomach test in the universe that insurance will pay for, and none of it would resolve it. It actually didn't get resolved until a couple of years ago when I moved to Albuquerque, and they diagnosed me with severe food allergen. I also had a ton of car accidents. So shamanic sickness can be actual physical ailment, but it also can be car accidents or something that happens with a physical body that seems not normal, a rare autoimmune disorder, something like this, some kind of condition that's difficult to resolve. Typically, shamanic sickness is indicative of you being a shaman and not having stood on the path you're meant to walk. And once you do, and once you take up the mantle of the work you came to do, it will resolve itself. You stop having the issue or the problem. And it's interesting because, you'll find that this happens. This has happened to many different shamans that I've talked to. They typically have had very challenging childhoods, lots of trauma. There can be physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and sexual abuse that they have to go through. They typically have to dance with shadow, as Danny once said to me, and they learn to make peace with the shadow dancing that we do in this realm. You learn to become, as I would say, the antidote to the poisons you have to drink. And many will be struck by lightning. This can often be a sign, symbol, or clue of a shaman. But even if you aren't struck by lightning, you might hold lightning magic. You may have wanted to be a storm chaser. You may be very tied to aspects of divinity that are connected to storms. Oya, the Nigerian storm goddess, or Thor, or Zeus, a lightning god, or Tlaloc, or Indra in Hinduism. You might have some connectivity to the storm entities, or you might work with the neural network or the lightning storm in the brain, and you might aid others to come to medicine or come to evolution or come to healing by working with the lightning storm in your brain. So there are, in the upcoming class I'm teaching on Celtic shamanism, and I will include it in Egyptian and Hawaiian as well, I've flushed up at least 16 to 20 different, signs, symbols, and clues that might point to you being a shaman. And I can say, once Lightwalker invoked me onto the shamanic path, I was graced within 1 week for a very golden dear soul that I love, that I worked with at this job as well. She let me borrow a native deck of hers that she had just gotten. And I asked the deck, what is my life purpose? And I drew the medicine person shaman card. And it was like, okay, I got a shaman telling me this is what I'm supposed to do. I got spirits, ally spirits telling me through the deck, this is what I'm supposed to do. I think this is what I'm supposed to do. And I gotta say, once I stepped on the path, everything started to get a lot easier for me to resolve some of the shamanic sickness issues that I was dealing with, which was a great balm and a great medicine. It started to explain a lot of the trials and tribulations that I faced, because you tend to feel very divergent from the rest of the world because you literally are a bridge between the spirit realm and the physical realm. You might talk to the dead. You might have tremendous clairvoyance or clairaudience. You might see and hear things that other two-leggeds do not. You might have claircognizance, where you get certain psychic downloads of information you don't normally hold. I've had tons of experiences with that. I have items in my house that my intuition led me to that literally are pairs that came together at 2 different stores that they just bring together. So I have physical evidence of spiritual interactions that I have. And I have words I've been given that I've never read before, like Ubuntu. My spirit guide team called themselves Ubuntu. And Ubuntuism is the philosophy of Desmond Tutu, somebody that I dearly love. So you might receive sudden knowing that you didn't have before. I work with a team of about 35 spirit guides, and learning about Ubuntu, it is a perfect model of what I believe, which it says, I am me because we are we. It is a belief in the beauty of diversity. And Ubuntuism is where I don't need you to change to be like me and to agree with me. You get to be your beautiful divine self, your expression of the drop of water that you be in the ocean of reality. And you don't need to be me. The role is taken. And I honor your diversity, and I'm able to disagree with you, and that's okay too. We don't have to agree all the time, everybody. Did you know that? You may be very multi-dimensional. My dharma is multi-dimensional quantum connection to justice, truth, love, and the pursuit of divine awareness. Multi-dimensional is the first word that is elicited in my dharma profile. And so you might have this multidimensional way in which you tend to travel. You might astral travel. You may have had near-death experiences or other ways in which you've traveled between the realms, but you might find yourself as being literally a gateway or one that stands in the veil between the living and the dead. And you might find it difficult because you often are not solely in this realm. You're multidimensional. You tend to be in multiple realms at once. You may spend a lot of time in prayer, a lot of time in service, a lot of time. Every single day of my life, I spend hours in prayer, in conscious awareness of blessing and protection, casting protection symbols on children, on animals, on construction workers, on ambulances, on fire trucks, on semi-drivers. Every single day I pray a bunch. If you don't like the term prayer, we could say I hold conscious awareness that shakes the web with the energy and the frequency of the multiverse that I choose to see. And so you might have that multifaceted kind of multidimensional quality to your being. You could be a highly sensitive person, somebody that has very advanced, it's about 20% of the population. They've done a film on that. And you could be like highly sensitive. You could be a Heyoka empath. Heyoka empath is going to literally feel in their own physical bodies things that others are feeling. When I do Kundalini healings, about 1 week before any client that I do a Kundalini healing for, I literally vibrate at the frequency of whoever I'm doing the reading for. And often when I'm giving them the download on the Zoom call of my Kundalini healing report, the download that I get from my spirit guide team, I often tell them, like, this is what came up for me the week before I had these stomach issues. I was having anger issues. Here's what came up. And it was a mirror for you. And it's always deeply validated. So you could be a Heyoka empath where you have this tremendous ability to feel the outer world. What I do know is that I've prayed my whole life to know my purpose. I've prayed to many gods and many goddesses in many lifetimes. It's what I do. And I've prayed, like, I want to know my purpose. I want to know why I'm here. If you will just tell me what that is, I will give it my all. I'll give you every atom I've got towards that aim. And having Lightwalker awaken me to this path, recognizing how many shamans I met before I even met with Lightwalker, how many shamans I've met and worked with since then. You may even find that shamans or medicine people are often your mirrors that you meet along the way. But when I took up the path, a lot of things seemed to resolve themselves. And then I started feeling more permission to open my throat chakra, to share my medicine, to share my perspective, to share my antidote, to share the unique thing that I came to give. You may be an INFJ, which is 1 to 3% of the population. You may be literally a unique matrix, That's what I found. I have all these unique matrices, which means not that I'm special, not that I'm better than anyone else, just that I have something distinct that I came to offer, and let's offer it. That's why I'm down here. So stepping onto the shamanic path has been a huge medicine to me and a huge gift to me, sharing my medicine in the world. And it's something I work on all the time because I'm multidimensional. I'm often not in my body and I have to get in it to operate and move in the physical world the way a human is supposed to. So I'm working on it. If I bump into you, sorry. I'm working on staying in my body. I am making this video called Wake the Shaman because I see, since Lightwalker has awakened me, since Danny Hallam has awakened me, it's through experiences I've had with Madre Ayahuasca and inner-level Guatemalan shamans telling me to stand up, telling me, great eagle, stand up. Stop walking in the world with sea legs. You're an eagle. Stand, you are a shaman. And I had a whole conversation with them in the inner levels through Madre Ayahuasca, in which I was like, I don't think I'm supposed to. And they were like, yeah, cut that out. You're a shaman. It's time to stand in it. I see, since I have been given on the inner level and on the outer levels that this is my path, that part of my duty is to summon those as well, to rise into the prize of who you be and what you came to offer in the sea of the ocean of life. And I'm doing that now. I'm calling and summoning those that are ready to awaken on the shamanic path to join me for Celtic Shamanism Tuesday, starting April 25th. The class is $222 or $33 weekly. I do offer at-home study if you're not available at that time, or sliding scale if you need it. You can go to rarebirdmedicine.com and click on the classes link. There's more information there, as well as Egyptian and Hawaiian shamanism coming up at the end of this year. I hope you'll be able to join us. Amun.